What's up, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. What's going on, everyone? This is the late night edition. I'm not on video. I just went for an insane run. I went for a group run today, and I went with this guy. I had no idea that he told me he's done 500K races. And honestly, these guys just took me to the end of the earth. I died, I went to heaven, and I'm a shell of my former self. But anyway, let's dive into the markets. And then I'm going to take a shower. We have the S&P 500 today finished up 0.32%. We have the NASDAQ QQQ, which also finished up 0.29%. The small caps were up 0.76%. Our dogs of the Dow were up 0.23%. And our ARK Innovation ETF was up 2.61%. That was actually our big winner for the session. The volatility of the market did decline pretty significantly. We got a nice vol crush. The trend model did flip from a -3 to a -1. And you can see we had strong breadth in the small caps, and we had 70.9% up volume. And this bounce, we have to remember, we have to put it into context. We had two pretty extreme days of downside in the market. I mean, honestly, yesterday I thought that might be the bounce day, but the bounce was pretty much sold into. So yeah, it is very nice to see this good price action, but it is important to keep it all in the context of the bigger picture. Take a look at this heat map. What was exciting? So we did have some, honestly, I'm seeing a lot of dispersion in the market where we've got some stocks that are moving to the upside pretty nicely. And we have other stocks that are moving to the downside. We see those energy names remained bid, and Tesla, which I actually took a short position in today. That was an idea from our Pristine Capital weekend watch list. It's been on our watch list for the past 2 weeks. And yeah, Tesla has its stock split. Beginning tomorrow, it's going to trade at that 3-for-1 split level. I believe it's going to open up tomorrow around like $288. But the last time Tesla had a stock split, the stock really came off afterward. So I went ahead and entered a short position. Sectors, very nice action across the board. We had the energy stocks that remain in our #1 momentum slot. They were up 1.23%. Solar energy was strong as well, up over 2%. MSOS Cannabis. Cannabis was up 7.74%. That is a group to continue watching. It does appear that something different is happening there. You can see this occurred on 1.62 relative volume. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Who knows if there's like some legislation coming down the pipe. Well, we know that now they're doing this thing where like they're forgiving student debt. That was a pretty big headline that came out of the Biden administration today. Who knows? Could there be something on cannabis legalization coming down the pipe? We really don't know. Keep an eye on it. And we see our ARK Innovation ETF. It's at the bottom of our momentum list, but it did perform pretty well today. Style factors. We have here our size style factor is up 0.63%. Our high beta style factor is up 1.12%. But let's take a look. There were some real oddities in the market today. And so let's check out our headline indices first. The S&P 500, where are we at? S&P 500, nice little bounce day, right? You know, pretty much just like an inside day. We actually undercut yesterday's low. But yeah, in the context of this action that we saw over here, you know, we got, you know, a couple days of big downside, undercut the 20-day simple moving average, and now we're moving sideways. So to me, if you pull back and then you're just moving sideways and you're not just V'ing off of it, that's definitely a reason to have some pause. And really what's happening is the 5-day EMA is catching down to price. So yeah, the market on this hourly time frame is pretty oversold. You're like, check this out. This is our hourly chart weekly value area all the way up here. And we're all the way down at this Venom S2 level. So I mean, I guess you can say like, wow, this is so bullish. Like we got to bounce in the market today. But like we're really not bouncing. We just moved lower and now we're moving sideways. So definitely noteworthy. Also noteworthy our dollar index. Let's see what that did today. Dollar index was, yeah, also just put in a doji candle and moved sideways. So we had a really nice move off the lows, bullish price action, and now this one is also just moving sideways. So it's not really off the table yet that we could get an even bigger move in the dollar. I'm not saying we will get it, but what I'm saying is I have no reassurance that we're not going to get it, and that's enough to keep me a little bit more defensive. Also our treasuries, these really need to bounce here. Look at this. So the 10-year Treasury futures, they broke down below this monthly value area. And look at the volume on this candle as well. So yeah, if you look at where we were on the June lows, equities are still much higher than where we were on the June lows. Bonds have retraced a significant portion of their gains. Look at this. let's just draw like a crude line over here. So that's the red line. I mean, look how much of the gains they've already retraced. So at some point, something's got to give. Either bonds have to bounce, and maybe they will. I mean, look how oversold they are, or the equities are likely going to fall. And I don't really have a ton of confidence which way that's going to move. So we had those, but then what's really odd is the VIX got crushed. Check this out. The VIX down 5.35%. So this is sort of in conflict with what we were seeing with treasuries. So we have to say, like, is the treasury market right? Is the equity volatility market right? For me, it's too much for me to try to guess again. Let's take a look. We also had, what was going on today? We had some NVIDIA earnings after the bell. Let's take a look at what we had for NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, they had a bad earnings report, but they did have a pre-announcement a couple of weeks ago, and they pretty much said, hey, we're going to have a bad earnings report. But take a look at what it's doing in the after hours. Is it having a huge move to the downside? No, it's certainly not, but it is moving to the downside. So you really have to ask yourself, like, if NVIDIA is not going to lead us tomorrow, which mega cap tech stock is going to lead us? Because we do need some participation from that mega cap tech group. Is it going to be Tesla after the stock split? Is it going to be Apple? We'll really have to see. It's going to be interesting. Let's also check out crude oil. It was really odd. It kept moving back and forth today, but we did get some news that the Iran deal is not going through. The Iran nuclear deal, I believe it was. And check this out. It may not have even been nuclear. I don't know what I'm talking about. It could have been energy. Honestly, I forget. But yeah, some deal with Iran fell through, and energy prices really responded and moved to the upside. And it looks like they're continuing to move to the upside in the after hours market. So it's not going to happen, guys. Like, we have to make some choices here. It's very difficult. Like, it's either energy's going to rip higher, and if that's the case, most likely that's not going to paint a good picture for equities, or maybe energy ends up selling off. So yeah, I think you understand from what I'm saying. Like, I wish I knew what was going to happen, but in terms of just like signal and clarity, right now this is a sequence where, like, I just have no clarity. Also, if we look here, and I'm not saying this to be like overly bearish or like scary or anything, but I'm just trying to present what I'm seeing. Take a look. This is the seasonality for midterm years, mid-year elections, and you can see that the seasonality from August really to October is just abysmal in these midterm election years. So that's another reason to just, like, for me right now, I'm in 70, I believe it's either 76 or 79% cash as of the close today. And that'll bring us into our trades. Let's take a look at the trades that we put on. So what do we do? Oh my gosh, this was some BDY alpha. So one of the guys from our group, I love him. He's awesome. He's actually the person that got me to quit my corporate job and trade full time. He's really amazing. He's honestly been like a mentor to me, but he's in our trading group, and he brought up this stock ENVX the other day. And so I was like, you know what, I'm taking this. It fits the parameters of my system, so let's go for it. And yeah, so ENVX, today this was one of the top performers in the market. I closed out half of my position for 23.08. I closed out another quarter of it for 24.81. I just put BDY Hoosier Alpha. So yeah, check this one out, ENVX. And again, this is the beauty of trading in a community and really just what we're building at Pristine Capital. Like, I'm learning a lot from the people in the group as well. They're making me a better trader. So I appreciate all of you that watch these videos, that you're a member of the group. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, so ENVX, this one had a very nice move to the upside. In this market environment, just because of how like precarious everything is, I've been trying to, just take targets pretty quickly and not really hold anything for too big of a swing. Like this stock, it was up 15% today. So for me, it's like, am I going to hold on for the bigger move? In this market environment, I'm not. And that's for better or worse. Maybe tomorrow this thing goes to 30, but BDY and we actually planned out a whole nother structure to trade this one again if it gets to 30. So we'll see. We got some plans in the works. And then on the option side, we did some cool stuff. Check this out. So I got long the Tesla August 26th 895 puts. And I just put here, I'm playing this trade for a max loss that is a 40 delta, meaning there's a 60% chance it's going to end up a 0. I wrote here, do not take this trade if you would be uncomfortable taking a 0. That's super important to me. But yeah, everyone is different. Some people that don't have their risk control down, they might take that for a 0 and go like, oh my God, I just blew up my portfolio. So yeah, anyway. Also, what did we do? We bought back the array September 16th, 17.5 strike puts that we sold. We sold those for 68 0.3 cents. We bought them back for 45 cents. I wrote here we took 34% of the max profit out of this trade in less than one full trading session. This was at 10.17. We would have to hold this for 23 more trading sessions to get the remaining 66% of the value. I'd rather just put that in my pocket and take the buying power back. And then what else did we do? I sold some Twitter August 26th, 39.5 strike puts for 87 cents. And I like this for a merger arbitrage trade. This one, take a look. It's becoming more compelling the further away we get from the 54.20 deal price. And yeah, I'm willing to take delivery of those Twitter shares. I also got long some Twitter October 21st 40 strike calls as well. And let's take a look at all these stocks. So Tesla, so far it did cooperate with me. Tesla, I shorted into this weekly value area low. So I shorted as soon as we tagged this level. And granted, we did keep moving up a little bit as we got in there, but then the stock just kind of broke throughout the rest of the day. So we'll see. The historical pattern is the day of the split onward, Tesla really struggles. We'll see if that holds true. Every time is different. It may not hold true. That's why I sized it for a max loss. But so far, this one is marking at like a 30% winner. And then Twitter with the whole whistleblower thing sold off yesterday. But I took that opportunity. I saw that there were some buyers coming in this morning. And so I sold that 39.5 strike put, collected some money, and then I bought those 40 strike calls. And I sort of mapped out the trade, and it does have a positive expectancy. I assume that there's a 30% chance the deal is going to go through, which I think is relatively conservative. And so we'll see what happens with that one, but I feel pretty comfortable taking this trade. So yeah, those are my trades for today. Overall, just trying to keep things low key and keep my exposure at a minimum. There's times in the market where I really put my pedal to the metal. You'll notice I did that last week when we really aggressively shorted the market. But then there's other times where you really want to be operating at that 60% pace, the 70% pace, even a 50% pace, and really just taking things slow. That way, when that golden opportunity presents itself, you can go 100%. Because if you go 100% all the time, and you're going 100% at like C setups, B setups, D setups, then when you get that A plus setup, you don't have as much capital to throw into it. So that's really the goal, just trying to see things, see the forest through the trees, see the bigger picture, take a slightly longer term view. That being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. You guys are all amazing. And as always, we'll see you all tomorrow.